Here we are with multiplying fractions. Oh, I love multiplying fractions. Yay! Oh, it's way more fun than adding and subtracting fractions. So, well, one, I like to multiply, so this makes it a lot better. And I don't have to find common denominators. Yes, this is Sister Jensen walking you through the tutorial on multiplying fractions. So let's get started. The rule that you have for multiplying fractions is you always just multiply straight across. Numerator times numerator and denominator times denominator. And of course, we shouldn't have to tell you this, always make sure you reduce your fraction 100% of the time. So if we look at negative 8 times 6 sevenths, negative 8 really is the fraction, it just has a denominator of 1. So we multiply numerator times numerator. Negative 8 times positive 6 is negative 48. And 1 times 7 is 7. So we have negative 48 over 7. Pretty much it. However, that's an improper fraction, and a lot of times, we like you to put it as a mixed number. So 7 goes into 48 how many times? 6 times, with a remainder of, I believe, 6. So we have negative 6 and 6 sevenths. So I'll walk you through it, this helpful hint. When we write it as a mixed number, you're really dividing, because that bar just means divide. Fractions are just unfinished division problems. That's all they are. People shouldn't be afraid of fractions. They just mean, hey man, I don't feel like dividing that out. I'm going to leave it like this. But if I do have to write it as a mixed number, you just divide. And 7 went to 48 a whole entire 6 times, and there was a remainder of 6 out of 7. So 6 out of 7. Let's do it again. Here we go. You already know what to do with the 2. You're going to put what underneath it? A 1. But this is a mixed number. And to be honest with you, you cannot multiply fractions with mixed numbers or whole numbers times mixed numbers. They both have to be fractions. So we need to change this into an improper fraction. To do that, it's like going around a clock. I just say you start at the bottom and you work your way around. So I start with 3 times 5 and then add 1. So here we go. 3 times 5 is 15 and adding 1 is 16. But you keep the same denominator. See, 3, keep the same denominator. Because if I were to divide this out, how many times does 3 go into 16? Well, 5 times. Well, what's left over? 1. See, 5. What's left over? 1/3. So we have to change it to an improper fraction before we can multiply. And now we're ready. So again, multiply straight across. 2 times 16 is 32. 1 times 3 is 3. 32 over 3. Okay, back to a mixed number. We're going to divide because that just means 32 divided by 3. 3 goes into 32 10 times with 2 left over. So we have 10 and 2/3. 2 out of 3 left. All right. That was 2 problems reviewed. Another one. Okay, I bet you've got this one down because this is just like the last one. Change 4 into a fraction. 4 over 1. 9 and 2/5 as a fraction. We start at the bottom and we go around. So I go 5 times 9 plus 2 is 47. And you don't change the denominator. Notice that was 9 and 2/5, and now it's 47/5. It stays the same. She is ready for a race. I will race you with my fractions. That's what she's thinking. I'm going to get you. All right. Sorry, I get distracted sometimes. We have 4 times 47. And 1 times 5, we go numerator times numerator, denominator times denominator. I kind of like this denominator times this denominator because 1 times 5 is just 5. So here we go, 188 over 5. And again, that just means 188 divided by 5. If we were to write this as a mixed number, we do 5 goes into 108, 30 some odd times. Looks like 37 times with the remainder of 3 out of 5, so 3/5. Now, if you were to go and use your calculator and go, oh, I don't feel like just figuring it out, and you typed in your calculator 188 and then divide 5 and put an equal sign, your answer would be 37.6. And the reason it's 0.6 is if you go to your calculator again and do a separate problem, what's 3 divided by 5? 0.6. So sometimes if you have your fractions with their equivalent decimals memorized, it goes pretty nice. But the catch is, if I give you a fraction problem, I'm expecting a fraction answer. So the test won't have 37.6. It'll have 37 and 3/5. I just wanted to let you know. Wow, looks like she's winning the race over here. Oh, look, this is nice. No mixed numbers. 1/8 times 6 sevenths. Oh, 1 times 6, 8 times 7. But first, you can reduce this because you can reduce these numerator with this denominator. They have something special in common. They have a common factor of 2. It's like reducing your fraction, but we're going to reduce our fraction before we go ahead and multiply straight across. Would make a division problem. So 6 divided by 2 is 3, and 8 divided by 2 is 4. I love reducing my multiplication problems before I actually multiply. They make the problem so much easier, and when I'm done, I know I don't have to reduce anymore. So now when I multiply my numerator, I have 1 times 3 and 4 times 7. So I have 3 over 28. Can't be reduced. One more time. So I want you to take a look at it. Even though there's a negative here, 2/3 times 9/2, a negative times a positive is always a negative. So we just know our answer is negative. That's fine. But do you notice anything special? The 9 and the 3, what do they both have in common? 3. 9 divided by 3 is 3, and 3 divided by 3 is 1. What do you notice here? The 2's. Negative 2 divided by 2 is negative 1, and 2 divided by 2 is 1. Wow, this looks pretty sharp. Now I just multiply the numerator. Negative 1 times 3 is negative 3. 1 times 1 is 1. So I have negative 3 divided by 1, and you would never leave a denominator of 1. You would just go to negative 3. Oh, no problem. We got it. We've been working it out. Go multiplication. Okay, this is your quiz. You're going to pause the video, work out the 2 problems, and when you are done with the 2 problems, come on back and we will talk about it. All right, I'll see you in a minute. Welcome back. Hopefully you sprinted through all that and you're ready for the answers. So we have 9 over 1 times 1 over 7, so we should have 9/7, which is really 1 and 2/7. So hopefully you noticed, that's an improper fraction. Change it to 1 and 2/7. All right, did you cross reduce on number 2? Look at the 2 and the 8. 2 divided by 2 is 1. 8 divided by 2 is 4. So we should have 5/12, but it should be a negative 5/12. Did you get 100%? I'm sure you did. Nice work. Keep on multiplying.